Today, we're going to explore the very first card in the major arcana, the Fool. Before diving into deeper themes, let's look closely at the imagery. The Fool is depicted as a young traveler walking toward the edge of a cliff, completely unaware of the potential fall. He holds a white rose in his hand, a symbol of innocence, purity, and non-attachment. Over his shoulder is a tiny knapsack, representing untapped inner resources and spiritual trust. Everything he needs is already with him, even if he doesn't know it. A small dog leaps at his feet. It represents our instincts, loyal, intuitive, and protective. It's the part of us that senses both danger and direction. In the background, snow-tipped mountains suggest future challenges, and a bright sun rises behind him, the eternal light of divine guidance. Notably, the Fool is walking northeast, the direction of the unknown, signaling his openness to mystery. The Fool is numbered 0. And 0 is unlike any other number. It exists outside the traditional sequence. It carries no weight by itself, but it can amplify any number it's placed beside. Spiritually, 0 is the number of the void, the unseen, the soul's raw form before it enters reality. It symbolizes the moment before conception, the space before the Big Bang. When the Fool appears, it means that something in your life is not yet formed, but the conditions for creation are present. You are standing at the edge of a new chapter that has not begun, and the choice to begin is yours. The Fool has no direction and no history. This lack of attachment means pure, unlimited freedom. No past pulls him back, no future pulls him forward. All paths are open. If you're seeing this card, it's a sign that you are not bound to any particular route right now. There is no internal or external force pressing you toward one decision. That is a gift and a challenge. Because freedom requires awareness. You must choose consciously. But here's the key. The Fool has 0 momentum. Without a push, its energy remains still. It is dormant potential, unrealized, unshaped, and untouched. Just like 0 alone is nothing until it's paired with another number, the Fool stays passive unless you take action. This card asks, will you make the first move? Because unless you act, this pure potential will remain just that potential. Sometimes the Fool appears during a moment of inspiration, a strange idea, a creative impulse, or a sudden desire for change. It might seem wild or irrational, but it might be exactly what your soul needs. The Fool invites you to take those impulses seriously, to look twice at what calls you. Although it's the first card of the major arcana, the Fool doesn't belong before or after any other card. It's the only one unnumbered in the standard sequence because it stands outside the journey. Still, it marks the soul's entrance into the hero's journey. From this point forward, the Fool will move through the 21 other major arcana cards, learning, evolving, transforming. But at this point, he knows nothing. He holds no tools, no wisdom, only trust. The Fool is sometimes misunderstood as careless. But there's a difference between sacred innocence and blind ignorance. The Fool is more like a newborn, untouched by rules, fearless of limits, unaware of consequences. This isn't foolishness. It's a sacred form of purity that allows learning through experience. The white rose represents that childlike openness. The dog, his inner guide, is the Fool's instinct. This animal doesn't just bark to warn. It's the part of you that says, go, Ostin, or wait. As the Fool walks, he will begin to listen more closely. He has no formal knowledge, yet no system or plan. His only learning method is trial and error. That's the purity of experience-based growth. The Fool is like an empty field, a space where nothing is planted, but the soil is fertile. If you take action, something extraordinary can grow. If not, nothing changes. That's why this card often shows up when you're waiting too long to act. The land is ready, but nothing grows unless you begin. The Fool also symbolizes leaving your comfort zone. It's a card of new lands, literal or symbolic. You might be entering a new relationship, career, philosophy, or spiritual journey. The destination doesn't matter. What matters is that you're moving into a space that is unfamiliar, and that's exactly where growth lives. This card can appear at critical choice points, times when your next step could radically shift the course of your life. 0 means limitless possibility. All paths are open. But which one will you take? Only a decision can create direction. Only commitment turns potential into reality. In many ways, the Fool functions like the Joker in a deck, wild, undefined, yet deeply influential. It carries the energy of whatever card is next to it. Alone, it's a 0, but with the right alignment, it amplifies and unlocks power. When it appears in a spread, the cards surrounding it shape how its message unfolds. So, if the Fool has appeared for you, consider it a call, a sign, a nudge from the universe saying, "You don't have to know, you just have to begin." You might not feel ready. You may not have everything figured out. But beginnings don't require mastery, only trust. You don't need a map. You need movement. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Thanks for watching. If you found value in this deep dive, please like, subscribe, and comment below, especially if you've ever had a Fool moment in your life. And join me next time as we explore the second step in the Fool's journey, the Magician. See you soon!